Thank you.
Welcome, everyone. I'm now calling this meeting to order. Please stand with us. We led in prayer by Alderman Gallagher. Please remain standing for the Pledge of Allegiance. Alderman Kelly, will you lead us on?
Absolutely. Heavenly Father, Lord, we thank you for bringing us into the month of September, Lord. Lord, we pray that we would look your direction, Lord, when we need words of wisdom, Lord. Seek your word in the Bible, Lord, and just follow your word in everything that we say and think and do, Lord. Let it be to your glory. In your name we pray. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
First on the agenda is the approval of minutes for the August 21st, 2018 meeting.
Mr. Mayor, I move that we approve the minutes for August 21st and the 18th with any additions, deletions, or corrections.
Second.
We have a motion by Alderman Brooks, second by Alderman Kelly. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, roll call.
Alderman Brooks.
Yes.
Alderman Kelly.
Yes.
Alderman who?
Yes.
Alderman Payne.
You there?
Alderman Gallagher.
Yes.
Alderman Wheeler.
Yes.
Alderman Flores.
Yes.
Okay, that motion carries. Next on the agenda is the appointment of Dean Upchurch for Ward 4 Planning Commissioner.
George, you there? George.
Alderman Payne, can you hear us? Look.
I'll call my phone.
Go back.
It's on the exit, I can't hear anybody. It's 901-626-7103.
Say that louder for you.
You there? Are you there?
Yeah. Okay, next on the agenda is the appointment of Dean Upchurch for Ward 4 Planning Commissioner.
Is that you?
Mr. Mayor, I make a movement that we appoint Dink Upchurch for Ward 4 Planning Commission.
Second.
We have a motion by Alderman Gallagher, second by Alderman Wheeler. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, roll call.
Alderman Brooks.
Yes.
Alderman Kelly.
Yes.
Alderman who?
Yes.
Alderman Payne. Alderman Payne.
Yes.
Alderman Gallagher.
Yes.
Alderman Wheeler.
Yes.
Alderman Flores.
Yes.
Okay, that motion carries. Next on the agenda is a resolution for taxi for hire. Mr. Nick Manley.
This is part of the resolution for taxi for hire that's required under the statute. It's for kids, the kids cabbie. I think they provide information to the clerk's office, and upon approval, they'll provide the required insurance to the clerk's office as provided by statute. So tonight, authorization to provide them the taxi cab medallion for taxi or vehicle for hire.
So moved. Second.
We have a motion by Alderman Flores, second by Alderman Wheeler. Is there any discussion? What is this again?
It's a vehicle for hire. That's what, under codes, we have to approve whenever somebody operates a taxi type of service in the city.
Okay.
We approve.
So it's just it's just for their operation?
Yes,
For
sir.
one, okay. Is there any other discussion? Hearing none, roll call.
Alderman Brooks.
Yes.
Alderman Kelly.
Yes.
Alderman who?
Yes.
Alderman Payne.
George.
Alderman Gallagher.
Yes.
Alderman Wheeler.
Yes.
Alderman Flores.
Yes.
Okay, that motion carries. Okay, next on the agenda is a resolution correcting the FY19 ad valorem tax levy and or fixing and establishing the budget.
Mr. Mayor, I move we adopt the resolution fixing the ad valorem tax levy on real and personal property for taxes and establishing the budget for the city of Southaven as presented on this date.
Second.
We have a motion by Alderman Brooks, second by Alderman Flores. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, roll call.
Alderman Brooks.
Yes.
Alderman Kelly.
Yes.
Alderman who?
Yes.
Alderman Payne.
George.
Yes.
Alderman Gallagher.
Yes.
Alderman Wheeler.
Yes.
Alderman Flores.
Yes.
Okay, and that motion carries. All right, next on the agenda is a resolution declaring Stormwater Week.
Mr. Mayor, I move we adopt the resolution of the Southaven Board of Aldermen declaring September 24th to 28th, 2018 as Stormwater Awareness Week.
Second.
We have a motion by Alderman Brooks, second by Alderman Kelly. Is there any discussion?
We need to correct the resolution. Alderman Ferguson's no longer here.
I'll make that correction.
It was a Ferguson a while back too. What was the other one? For the kids, for the tax.
Okay, we'll fix it.
Was that just a carryover? Was it
Yeah.
a template that's carried over?
Yeah, this one's not prepared by us, so,
Okay,
yeah, we'll fix it.
okay, we'll get that straightened out.
I'm gonna put you on my phone.
Okay, is there any other discussion about Stormwater Awareness Week? Hearing none, roll call.
Alderman Brooks.
Yes.
Alderman Kelly.
Yes.
Alderman who?
Yes.
Alderman Payne. Yes. Alderman Gallagher.
Yes.
Alderman Wheeler.
Yes.
Alderman Flores.
Yes.
Okay, and that motion carries. Next on the agenda is a resolution to clean private property.
Mr. Mayor, I move we adopt the resolution granting authority to clean private property as presented on this date.
Second.
We have a motion by Alderman Brooks, second by Alderman Hoots. Is there any discussion among the board? Hearing none, is there anyone in the audience that has an interest in any of the properties that would like to speak? Hearing or seeing none, roll call please.
Alderman Brooks.
Yes.
Alderman Kelly.
Yes.
Alderman who?
Yes.
Alderman Payne. Yes. Alderman Gallagher.
Yes.
Alderman Wheeler.
Yes.
Alderman Flores.
Yes.
Okay, that motion carries. Next on the agenda is our planning agenda. Ms. Whitney Cook.
Yes, sir, we have 3 applications. Okay, yes, our first application is for the first commercial lot of Silo Square, which is gonna be on the west side of Getwell North, and this will be the north corner of May Boulevard. There's no egress is shown on this, which will, basically, there's no curb cuts on Getwell Road from this. Everything will be accessed from May Boulevard, and they'll have a rear access road here. We did have a concern by the way they were numbered. They have followed the outline plan, so it's a little confusing that lot 3 will be recorded before lots 1 and 2, which you'll see to the north. They'll be closing soon enough, but we did get confirmation from the Chancery Clerk's office that that was acceptable. All right-of-way for Getwell Road has already been granted, all the improvements have been done, and you'll see on here May Boulevard's right-of-way has been given on this one, the boulevard-style design. So that being said, staff recommended approval and planning commission voted unanimously.
Mr. Mayor, I make a recommendation or motion that we approve item number 1 on the planning agenda as presented.
Second.
On item 1, we have a motion by Alderman Flores, second by Alderman Kelly. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, roll call.
Alderman Brooks.
Yes.
Alderman Kelly.
Yes.
Alderman who?
Yes.
Alderman Payne. Yes. Alderman Gallagher.
Yes.
Alderman Wheeler.
Yes.
Alderman Flores.
Yes.
Okay, that motion carries on item 1.
Item number 2, we have an application to revise the existing Gills subdivision, which was recorded in the mid-70s. This is going to be at the south end of Davis Road where it stubs out into just an agricultural piece of property. The lot at this point is 7.16 acres.
They're wanting to carve out approximately 1.5 acres, which has existing home and barn on it, and leave the remaining 6.14 acres as a secondary lot. There has to be a couple of corrections on this one. It was filed as a minor subdivision. It doesn't fit the profile of minor subdivision, so we're having them correct the application and the fees associated with that. It also requires with a major subdivision revision that all adjacent property owners have the ability to sign the plat before recording. So we have them making that adjustment as well. And the other thing we're looking into, and some people here at the board might know this, there is 80 feet of right-of-way that supposedly was already given for an old Tullahoma road here, which does not exist. It's going all the way down that east property line. So we're looking into that to determine if that was vacated or if that was just an extension of what is now Davis Road. But it does have a drainage easement on it as well. So before we plat it, we're going to finish up the title work on that and determine where old Tullahoma is, because we don't know. But that being said, and with those contingencies on it, it was recommended for approval, and Planning Commission did vote unanimously for it.
Mr. Mayor, I make a motion that we approve item number 2 on the planning agenda as presented.
Second.
On item 2, we have a motion to approve Alderman Gallagher, second by Alderman Brooks. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, roll call.
Alderman Butts?
Yes.
Alderman Kelly?
Yes.
Alderman who?
Yes.
Alderman Payne?
Yes.
Alderman Gardner?
Yes.
Alderman Wheeler?
Yes.
Alderman Flores?
Yes.
Okay, that motion carries on 2.
Our last application is another minor subdivision application. This is going to be north of Dale Road on the west side of Malone Road. The best way to give you a description on this is there's a gravel drive on the west side of Malone that goes to an olive branch water tower. I think we're actually doing some work on it that has visibility from the park. The lot they're proposing here has accessibility from that gravel drive. The overall property is 7.56 acres, and they're requesting to actually carve out 1 acre to give to a family member to actually build on. We're okay with the subdividing of it, but as you can see by the pictures, it does raise some concerns for fire department and emergency vehicle accessibility to the site, because it is essentially a gravel road. It's a very narrow 12-foot ingress-egress easement that was basically granted to Olive Branch for a water tower. So the recommendation from staff was to get with the fire department and the police department in EMS to determine what they need there. Normally it's a 20-foot paved area because they don't like to take their apparatuses on a gravel drive. And I know that the width of 12 feet is usually too narrow. So staff and Planning Commission recommended approval with the acknowledgement that before we make a final determination that it either be paved with a 20-foot wide to the actual driveway where this lot is going to be, or to come up with another compromise with the fire department that they're okay with.
Is there a motion to approve item 3?
Mr. Mayor, make a motion we approve item 3 as presented.
Second.
Okay, on item 3, we have a motion to approve Alderman Wheeler, a second by Alderman Brooks. Is there any discussion?
Excuse me. That's the land I'm purchasing. Basically, I'm just purchasing that 1 acre just to build it. We're building a home. That's all.
Correct. I think the question comes into play is you are off of Malone Road, so if you had an emergency at your house, you are a distance enough to where a fire truck can't turn in and get to you because of it being gravel. And our fire chiefs are here. I don't know what the compromise can be, but normally they will not take their fire apparatuses down a gravel drive. The other house that is located down here, that was done in the county. That's not something we would have allowed. And whatever compromise you can come to with the police department and the fire department for accessibility for emergency vehicle services, we're okay with. I just know that standard 12-foot ingress egress gravel drive is not something that we standard allow. I mean,
So basically just something,
yes, and we'll get you in touch with the proper authorities back there. We just want to make comment here that we will approve it contingent on an okay from the fire department.
And ma'am, does that answer your questions?
yes, sir.
Okay.
I understand completely.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, any other discussion on item 3? And we're approving this with a
Yes.
contingent upon the fire department's approval.
Contingent upon the fire department and EMS accessibility.
Okay. Any other discussion on 3? Hearing none, roll call.
Alderman
Yes.
Alderman Kelly.
Yes.
Alderman who?
Yes.
Alderman Payne.
Yes.
Alderman Gallagher.
Yes.
Alderman Wheeler.
Yes.
Alderman Flores.
Yes.
Okay, the motion carries. Thank you. The next on our agenda is mayor's report. I got several things I want to update everyone on. Y'all are familiar with the request that we made as a city to change the postal address for the annexed areas. Over the years, in previous annexations, the city has 3 different zip codes, 38680, 38654, and 38651, that do not have a Southaven name. They are in the city limits of Southaven. It has caused a lot of confusion for our 911 service and for many other areas. So we've requested from the United States Postal Service that they change the name for the address to Southaven, since they are in the city limits of Southaven. At this point, the response we got back was that they review this every 10 years. So in 2009, there was a request made by the city. The Postal Service sent a survey out to some of the annexed areas, and for whatever reason, the results of the survey, which after reviewing the facts of it was not a comprehensive survey, it went to basically one or two subdivisions, and there was some bitterness there about a previous annexation, so the surveys were not good. So the Postal Service took that the citizens did not want their address changed. So they denied that request in 2009. Well, since they've received our updated request, which includes 2 more zip codes, since then, they have indicated that they review this once every 10 years. So we're 9 years in, so we will stay on them. Alderman Brooks has helped in his role with Congressman Trent Kelly. He's helped us reach out to the Postal Service. They're aware of the request. But we've not gotten the answer we want yet, but just to update you, we'll continue on that. So hopefully by next year, we'll get them to relook at that and change the address where they all have a Southaven address. And I have to kind of pinch myself a little bit, make sure that I'm being fair in things that I ask, but I don't think it's asking a lot if you live in the city of Southaven that you should have a Southaven address. Street improvement, some questions. I've spoken about this numerous times, but just to update everyone again, if y'all would help me, when we have a street, I'm gonna give you a couple of examples. Rasco Road is one, Clona Hills Drive is one. A few years ago, we started using seal coating. We started doing that because we realized that we can repair or resurface roads for 1/3 of the cost of new asphalt by doing that. So when Civil Link analyzes the road, they'll go into sections of the road that are really bad, and we'll do new asphalt. We'll repave those. But a lot of times when you get into a long collector street or arterial road like the ones I mentioned, there may be large segments of that do not need new asphalt. They can have the little fine layer, it can be seal coated, all the cracks are sealed, put a little top coat of asphalt on there for 1/3 of the cost. It's worked extremely well for us. It's allowed us to do more streets with the same amount of money. But the problem is we use different contractors for that. So occasionally when you see a street like these 2 I mentioned, part of it has new asphalt, but then it raises a lot of questions, like the citizens are saying, well, hey, did you quit? Did you go home? You didn't finish, and so if y'all will help me relay that there are different contractors that do the seal coating. So we're at their mercy. The seal coat company that we use is out of South Mississippi. They come here once a year and take care of all the ones in DeSoto County. And so we have to wait on them to get here. So that's the reason that you've not seen those roads completed. But the update is that they are in DeSoto County. They mobilized here. And we've been told that they're going to get to our streets within the next 2 weeks. So you should see Clona Hills Drive and Rasco redone all the way to Airways, and they'll be completely done with a new surface, and then they'll come in with a different contractor and restripe it, so it'll look like a brand new road within the next couple of weeks. But if y'all, again, will help me get that out there, y'all heard me, I guess cry about this before, but I try so hard to get the word out to the public. Bob Balkins in the audience, please help me get the word out. It's so challenging to, when you want to communicate with your citizens. Most people don't watch the video, they don't come here, but they're kind of in the dark. So if y'all help me update with that, I appreciate that. Speaking of streets, the FY19 list, we start in the fall. with next year's budgeted list. So we've already contacted Lehman Roberts, who is our asphalt contractor. We've laid it out clearly, the ones that we want to try to get done while the weather's still good in September and October. So there's, I think, $625,000 of the $2 million proposed in our budget we believe we can get done this fall. And that they're big streets that are in dire need of it. And so to get them done before the bad winter weather is huge, because it keeps the road from getting worse. So that's why we try to do that. But anyway, that list will go out. We're putting the finishing financial numbers on that. When I get that, I'm going to send that out to all the board members, so you'll know exactly what street is going to be done in FY19. Proud of our guys in our fire department. I always like to let everybody know this, because these guys kind of, our fire and police do a lot of things that no one knows about. They don't ask for anybody to pat them on the back. But I think it's pretty cool that, when Mississippi has challenges and our region has challenges, when our guys and girls that are so well trained answer the call of duty and leave Southaven. So when Tropical Storm Gordon is threatening our Mississippi Gulf Coast, we have two guys, Adam Landers and Colin Wilson, that are on the Task Force 1 team, and they're experts in swift water rescue, and they have left Southaven and are headed to Gulfport to help out with whatever challenges may occur with the tropical storm. But if we can, just let's give a quick round of applause for the people that step out. Again, they don't ask for anything, they just do their job, and I appreciate that. Moving on, the Police West Precinct, y'all are familiar with that board. Just an update that I did a tour of that today with Chief Purtle. It's an outstanding use of that building. It's going to be really nice. We're already started the process of moving in, so that as far as construction or the renovation, it's already done. So we'll have the police in there 100% in the very, very near future. Stop sign was placed at Claiborne and Chesterfield. You'll notice that, Alderman Kelly, I know that there's been other requests for Farmington and Chesterfield. We've done traffic studies. Danny Cordell and Civil Link have looked at both intersections. The police have also given input to that, and we felt like the one at Claiborne was more valuable because of the kids. The kids are crossing crossing the street to go to Southaven Elementary right there. So we felt like that was more valuable at this point rather than doing the one at Farmington. But that has been done. The stop signs are up. There's going to be additional road markings there. Mr. Bradley Wallace is helping us with that. We're also going to add some rumble strips on Chesterfield just to get the driver's attention, since it's a new stop sign, and that'll be done in the near future as well. And did you have any comments about that, or I mean, will that help? In your opinion?
I think it helps. Absolutely.
Okay.
The response that I've gotten from the constituents is they're happy with that.
Okay.
Of course, immediately they asked about the Farmington one.
Right. I knew that was coming.
Oh yeah.
Thank you. Okay, and then moving on, just a little trivial thing. Whitney and I are going to laugh about this, but it's just not meant for us to have a Christmas tree at City Hall. As silly as that sounds, we have planted 3 trees. And just to backdate a little history, in 2014, it was brought to my attention that the city had an artificial Christmas tree that had aged and was in dire need of repair. Well, we proceeded to try to get that repaired, and I realized it was going to cost us $40,000 for a Christmas tree. Well, I don't know about y'all, but I've never come close to paying $40,000 for a Christmas tree. So my first thought was that we have a beautiful property here. Let's plant a real tree. Let's let it grow. And we've done that. We built a circular drive around it. And we've been told by the tree experts that the cedars are very sensitive when you're transplanting them, and that area where it is now is obviously in a wind pattern. I mean, all of them have died, either gotten blown down, or we had problems one year with an ice storm. So I hate to tell you this, but we're going to try something different. So what we're going to do is we're going to plant a magnolia tree there. We have an opportunity to get a large, like 25, 30-foot magnolia. I think it'll be beautiful right there with a circular walk around it. And then we're going to plant another Christmas tree in Soche Park, where it's visible from City Hall. When you leave City Hall, when you see the sign at the intersection of Northwest and Brandywine, right behind the Soche Park sign, there's an open area that we think would be ideal for a Christmas tree, but we're going to plant a smaller one that has a better rate of survival. And then if that little joker makes it, then we're going to build a sidewalk around it too. But anyway, just updating you on the plan there. Sorry to be so lengthy, a lot of things I want to tell you. A couple more things real fast. Let me scan my list here. We do have, and I'm not going to name personnel issue, but we do have a person that had submitted paperwork to retire with the retiree health insurance benefit that we voted upon recently to halt. We believe that the application that was requested prior to that board action, so I'm just letting you know if you hear that from anyone, we are allowing this person to go ahead because they did submit the application before we suspended that. We will have a final decision, more information. Chris has gathered information about how the accounting, the books will be done, what type of liability that'll be shown, so the board can make a formal permanent decision on that benefit. It is public now, the Hilton Embassy Suites project that you're familiar with. I did attend the County Board of Supervisors meeting this morning with the prospective developer, or with the developers for the prospective project, and they presented all the facts to the county. They're asking that the county provide a 10-year property tax abatement for them. The county received it well. We left the meeting this morning. They want to talk with their financial advisor, just to make sure that they do everything or get up complete information on how that will work for them financially. And also their main question was, had the developers reached out to the Landers Center? You know, the Landers Center, is no secret, for years has considered adding a hotel there. So they want to make sure that that project complements the Landers Center and is not competing with it. So those were the two key pieces of information, how we left it. But anyway, they asked about timelines. I did explain to them that ideally we'd like to know, something as soon as possible, but no later than year end. So we'll have updates about that in the future. And that is all that I have this evening. Next on the agenda is the citizens agenda. Do we have anyone that signed up, Christy? Okay. No one signed up. Is there anyone in the audience who would like to speak? Anyone want to speak on the citizens agenda? Okay. No one wants to speak tonight. We'll keep moving on the agenda. The next item on the agenda is a personnel docket.
Mr. Mayor, I move that we approve the personnel docket as presented on the state.
Second.
We have a motion by Alderman Brooks, second by Alderman Wheeler. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, roll call.
Alderman Brooks.
Yes.
Alderman Kelly.
Yes.
Alderman Hoots.
Yes.
Alderman Payne.
Yes.
Alderman Gallagher.
Yes.
Alderman Wheeler.
Yes.
Alderman Flores.
Yes.
Okay, that motion carries. Next on the agenda is the city attorney's legal update.
Yes, not the contracts. Aren't
Okay.
ready yet.
Nothing this evening. Next on the agenda is the claims docket.
Mr. Mayor, I move that we approve the claims docket in the amount of $2,373,828.76 to include demand checks.
Second.
We have a motion by Alderman Brooks, second by Alderman Flores. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, roll call.
Alderman Brooks.
Yes.
Alderman Kelly.
Yes.
Alderman Hoots.
Yes.
Alderman Payne.
Yes.
Alderman Gallagher.
Yes.
Alderman Wheeler.
Yes.
Alderman Flores.
Yes.
Okay, that motion carries. Next on the agenda is to determine the need for executive session.
I'll make that motion. Second.
We have a motion by Alderman Gallagher, second by Alderman Brooks. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed say no. Ayes have it, motion carries. The need this evening is personnel in the Southaven Fire Department, economic development with industry and potential business locating to the city, and litigation and claims against the city. Is there a motion to declare executive session?
Second.
Got a motion by Alderman Gallagher, second by Alderman Hoots. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say no. Ayes have it, motion carries. The mayor and board are now in our executive session.
Vacation?